Hi, welcome to Off the Tee. I'm your host, Jared Levy. Today we're at Fillmore Fairways in Cascade, Iowa. We'll be meeting with head golf pro Jeff Morreim, who's going to give us some tips for our short game and then take us out on the course to see some of their signature holes. Let's check it out. We're at Fillmore Fairways Golf Course here in Cascade, Iowa, and with Jeff Morreim. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Jeff, before we get into everything, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found yourself here at Fillmore.
Well, I grew up here in Cascade, just about 5 miles down the road, and always really enjoyed golf as a young kid. I started golfing here when I was probably 10, 11 years old. Basically lived at this golf course all the summer long during summer break. I'd come out here in the morning with some friends, and sometimes I'd stay here all day. Till the sun went down at night. So spent a lot of time here as a young kid, and actually after college or high school, I went to college at St. Ambrose, played golf there for a couple of years. After that, I decided to transfer to Ferris State University, which is in Big Rapids, Michigan, and they have a professional golf management school. So I got a 4-year degree there in marketing and professional golf management.
Yeah.
And then after that, I had spent some time at the Amana Colonies golf course for several years, and then wound up here in 2009. And growing up in Cascade, this was kind of like my dream job. So now since 2009, I've been here, which is almost 16 years now. So it's good to be here.
Nice. So safe to say you know this golf course like the back of your hand.
Yeah.
How have you seen it change over the years?
Biggest changes have been with the loss of the trees due to the ash borer. All the ash trees basically were succumbed to this ash borer, which basically sucks the life out of the tree and kills it over time. So majority of our trees out here were ash trees, unfortunately. So over the last 2.5 years or so, we've taken down approximately 215 trees. So the landscape of the course has really changed due to the lack of trees that are now out there. Some would say it made it quite a bit easier, of course.
Yeah,
with not
less
having
trees.
as many trees. But and we will be doing things. We've already have planted several new trees, and over the coming seasons, we'll plant more trees to replace the trees that we had to cut down. So.
And then as far as the course layout and signature holes, what are a couple holes that you think the usuals and the members might say, hey, these are my favorite holes, or these are some of my most challenging holes?
Depending on which tee box you play, because we have 3 different tee boxes, but number 3, because it's a fairly long hill uphill, it's a long par 4, very challenging hole. Number 5, just because it's sort of an intimidating tee shot because you have trees left and right, although there's now less trees, but there's still numerous trees left and right with the big valley and dip there. It's just kind of an intimidating tee shot, really, for a lot of people.
Tell us about some of the events here at Fillmore Fairways.
We do numerous events. We do a lot of different family events. We do fundraising events. We just had an Alzheimer's Association event here last week that raised money for Alzheimer's Association. We do a lot of in-house events also, 4-person best shots that we host generally once a month. We have one coming up this Friday, and then also another one coming up July 5th, Friday evening. So, and other than that, we do just company events, family events, things like that. Some of the events have been going on for, they're annual events. They've been going on since before my time here.
Yeah.
Some have been going on for 30 plus years. There's some family events here that have come back annually on the same weekend for, I think, one just 35 years. I think we had one last Saturday. So.
And yeah, you mentioned different families have been coming here for years. Definitely seems like an everyman public course.
Yeah.
What are some of the aspects that you think make that happen?
Well, the golf course opened in 1966, so it's been here 50 plus years. You know, it's a rural golf course, again, public golf course. Dubuque County Conservation owns the property here. So a lot of people in the area grew up here just playing this golf course when they were young, you know, and then continue to play it over the years. The golf course is, you know, it's always been a well-maintained golf course. You know, I hear comments every single day from people that come in and just say how, you know, the golf course is like the best conditioned golf course that they play. You know, which is great to hear. Huge, we're known for really huge greens. You know, some of the biggest greens you'll find on any golf course in the area.
And that's great for a course like this.
Yeah.
In a community like this, where, as you said, it's rural, so everyone probably comes here who lives nearby, 5 miles down the road. So
yeah.
Thanks for sharing your time and telling us about the course. What holes are we going to see today?
We're going to go out. We're going to look at hole number 3, which is kind of a longer par 4. Then we'll finish up on number 9, which comes back to the clubhouse going over the creek here. So
nice. And are we going to work on any tips and tricks today? Do you have any advice?
Tricks, I'm not sure, but we'll do a little short game, maybe a chipping tip or a putting tip.
Perfect.
Definitely. So
short game's important. So
short game is very important.
All right. Well, let's get out there.
All right. Thank you.
Hey everyone, stick around. We'll be right back after these messages. All right, so we're at the practice green here, and we're going to go over some short game tips. Tell us what we're going to cover.
Well, we're going to first start here on a little pitch shot here, and we have different clubs that we can use for this. What I find with a lot of amateur golfers is they get close to the green like this, and I see them always reaching for higher loft, like a sand wedge or a loft wedge, lob wedge or something like that. But I'm going to show here the difference versus using a high lofted club versus something like an 8 or a 9 iron to perform this chip shot going to the second flag up here. So I have a 56-degree sand wedge in my hand, and what I see people doing is they'll take a lot of backswing, you know, for this short, 30-yard shot. I'll see them take a big, long, big backswing, and then they'll kind of decel or stop at it like this. You know, something like back and kind of like that. But if we take a 9 iron, okay, we choke down on the club. See here we have a lot of green to work with going to that second flag up there. Okay, so we need a real narrow stance, and in this, again, a 9 iron, this is called a bump and run shot. So basically we're going to take a really short swing rather than going back far and slowing down or decelling. We're going to go back a short distance and make sure that we accelerate the club head through the impact area. Okay, so the shorter we take the club back, there's only a certain amount of acceleration that will happen due to the short length of the backswing. Okay, so we back short, excel through, and then abruptly stopped. So basically my backswing length is the same as my forward swing, okay? And I got the ball sort of towards the back stance to ensure that I hit the ball first. Then I'm gonna pick out a little spot on the green here where I want the ball to land, and then the rest of the way the ball is gonna run like a putt. Okay, so see how I got it on the green, and then the ball just rolled the rest of the way it's a much more repeatable swing. Repeatable in the fact that, you know, you have a very short compact swing. The average mid or high handicap golfer has a much better chance of performing this better result than something with a lofted club with a higher backswing and decelerating into it. So again, pick out our spot. And let the ball roll like a putt to the hole.
I like that because as you can see, I picked 2 wedges. So I am that amateur golfer you speak of. And it's always a tough shot because sometimes I might swing that big swing, and if I don't hit it right, I might be hitting the same shot again because I duffed it.
Yeah, because when you do take a lofted club, you know, and it may be a bit more of a backswing or too high of a backswing, again, coming back, the key here is to make crisp contact in the center of the club face. And when we use more loft, you have to carry the ball a lot further because it's not going to roll as far.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more room for error when you have to carry a shot, say 20 yards versus maybe 10 yards, okay? So you get this lofted club in here, you take a little bigger swing, and the average golfer is going to have a harder time executing that shot, you know, with a good result they're looking for.
Well, there's 2 balls here. Should I try one of each? And
Yeah, give it a shot here.
I'll grab my first wedge. So going for that far one. Yeah, it's a real touchy shot. And it checked up, didn't roll as far as I'd like it to.
So now you've got a, 10, 12 footer for your par, let's say, and then we're going to take a less lofted club like a 9-iron here.
Okay. Let's see if we'll.
Okay, and again, back in our stance, choking down on the club, and again, very short, compact golf swing. You're only going to take it back to here. There you go, back. Excellent.
And it runs out.
And it ran out. Okay.
And just getting used to doing that over and over, I feel like I didn't hit that one well, and the result was about the same. So if I actually mess up here, I like the result more than if I mess up with the high wedge.
Again, we go back to consistent contact with the ball and repeatable. We want everything to be more repeatable, easily repeatable. So this shot, if we sat here and we threw a dozen balls down, and you've got this little bump and run.
Get used to it.
You get really used to it, and I think you would find long term that shot is a lot more easily executed and repeatable versus a lofted club that a lot of people tend to use on these short swings. Okay.
I think you're right. I think I'll try that and try to incorporate that in my golf game.
So again, the shorter the say we got a close pin, again we might have a shorter backswing, even shorter backswing yet. And then we can utilize the same club if we got a far pin. Again, our backswing is going to be just a bit further. And again, there's minimal wrist breakdown. A lot of times we get into trouble when people start getting wristy.
Yeah.
Again, it's basically just all shoulders, bring it back and through. It's kind of like a long putting stroke.
So if we were here and just going for this close one, is it easier to go with this 9, or would I want something about like a 7 is the 9 still the...
Yeah, 9
in club choice.
You could even do this with, say, a pitching wedge. And again, it kind of depends on what you got in front of you here. Sometimes like this short shot here. You could experiment with it. You could do it with different clubs. Just whatever you kind of feel more comfortable with. What I always say is maybe use a slightly more lofted club if you've got shorter distance to go, like this front pin here.
Okay.
You could do that same.
So maybe try a 7 or 8 for the long one.
Yeah,
for that far one.
Yeah, that far one back here. If you use a 7-iron, got it on the ground and just let it run, much like a putt versus this short one here, you could do that same motion again with say a pitching wedge. Again, just realizing the ball with a wedge versus a 7 is going to pop up a little higher and roll less, which is what you want for this shorter shot.
Well, sounds good. I'll definitely incorporate that, and hopefully the viewers will too.
Sounds great.
Hey everyone, stick around. We'll be right back after these messages. We're back here at Fillmore Fairways with Jeff, the head golf pro. We're going to go out to hole number 3. Tell us about that hole.
3 is the longest par 4 on the golf course. It's a little over 400 yards, about 405 yards from the back tee. Uphill tee shot, kind of to a little plateau, and then you've got trees left, you've got trees far, and then it goes downhill. So I guess for the longer hitter, you might want to consider laying up on top of that plateau, because if you do hit the ball a long ways, you potentially go down over the hill into the trees, into trouble, into kind of no man's land down there. Slight dog leg to the left also, and then this hole continues to go downwards to a fairly large flat green. Due to its length, it's one of the more challenging par 4s in the golf course.
Okay, let's go check it out.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so we're on hole 3. Tell us how best to approach this tee shot.
Okay, so again, as you can see, it's a blind tee shot. You can see the trees up in the background up there. Those trees are probably about 260, 70 yards out. This fence over here in the road, that's out of bounds, so you have out of bounds right. So the longer hitters, you know, if you're say a 280, 300 yard driver, if you go straight and beyond that little, up there we also have a plateau which we can't see, you might not want to hit driver here. You might want to back off with a 3-wood or a hybrid or something like that. Because if you do go too far, you might be down there.
In the woods.
Yeah, down in the woods in the shot, so. Or if you are the very long hitter, you can actually take it left over this tree up here, and it's a very fine line to where it lands, but if you far enough left, you'll be okay. Because it is a slight dog leg left. As it's up here, we go slightly left, then down a hill, so.
All right, well, we both have driver in hand. I'll let you go first,
right.
And I'll try and follow. Good shot.
Great ball.
Might be going, hopefully not too far, right?
Yeah, hopefully not. You might be sitting up there on that plateau.
All right, let's find out. All right, so I found the fairway here. I think you outdrove me just a little bit there, off to the rough,
by a couple of yards there.
Two good shots.
So again,
thoughts?
you position yourself ideally up here on the far end of the plateau here. So you got a nice look at the pin here. We've got about 150 yards to the middle of the green. We've got a red pin, so you got a little less, probably 140 to 145 yards.
Okay.
So you put yourself in a great position here.
All right, wind at the back.
Wind
so
slightly back, slightly left, so might want to take that into consideration as well. So
yeah, I saw my drive kind of
yeah,
right on
I think
me
the
pretty
wind
fast.
definitely made it ride. So
all right, I'll give it a go.
all right.
Come around.
Take it, wind. Oh, nice shot right in the middle of the green.
I'll take it.
All right, so I just trickled into the rough here. Again, similar shot. I'm just about 150 yards of this, almost the same identical shot here, but I do have slight downhill lie. I got obstructed of the pin with this tree up here, but let's give it a shot.
Good ball.
Thank you.
All right, so it looks like you came up just short of the green, but actually perfect for the tip you gave us just earlier.
This chip shot is exactly the scenario where we were going over before, where we have a decent amount of pin green to work with here. And again, I've got a 9-iron, and again, I'm going to utilize that bump and run here and kind of pick my spot out here and let the ball trickle to the hole like a putt. Okay.
All right, let's see it. That's good.
Almost made it.
Woo! I thought that was going in.
I did too.
All right, so I have a long birdie putt here. I'd love to make it, but I think I'll be happy with a tap-in par if I can put it close.
Again, for these length of putts and longer, you know, obviously to make it would be great. But you know what I tell people is just kind of visualize a much larger hole, say a 3-foot radius around that hole, because obviously what you're trying to do here is no more than 2 putt.
Yep.
Because you're on in regulation, 1 putt gets you a birdie, obviously, but again, we don't want 3 putts. Okay, so let's put ourselves in a position to where our next putt's going to be a kind of a tap in.
All right.
Got a little right to left breaker there.
Did I hit it hard enough?
Just a little short. Read it good.
All right, so it looks like you have an uphill putt. We know mine was breaking toward your ball here when I made mine. So
right, so chances are it's going to do the same going up this hill too.
I think you can put that in. Oh, that's a good tap in though.
I've been playing fast greens the last 2 times. These are a little slower.
These greens are pretty soft.
They're very soft.
Now we're going to hole number 9. Tell us about that and how to play that.
Okay, 9 finishes up another par 4, about 375 yards. Slight dogleg to the right, slightly downhill. What makes 9 kind of difficult is, again, you have some trees kind of on the right side. You got some trees, although there's not as many. Like we said, we lost some trees. Then about 30 yards in front of the green, you have a creek that stretches between holes 1 and 9. So for the average golfer, a little intimidating. Anytime you have to go over water, it's a little more challenging than when you don't have water. So,
all right, let's go check that one out too.
All right.
All right, so hole 9. Tell us about this tee shot.
Okay, so hole 9, 370 yards. Again, tree lined.
Yeah.
Slight dog leg to the right. We go out there to about the 150 yard marker, then we start to turn right into the green. Again, you can see the bridge out there, so we do have a creek that comes into play on our second shot here, about 30 to 40 yards in front of the green.
Okay, but pull a driver and keep it kind of left.
Pull a driver. I mean, some people can cut it. If you're long here, you can take it up over that evergreen tree there, take off a little distance, or otherwise a lot of people just play it out straight here. So
not in this wind.
This wind might be a little difficult.
Good shot.
Thank you.
Oh, wind's catching
Wind's got
me,
it a
but
little bit there, but
it'll be all right.
yep, looks like it's going to be all right.
All right, so I missed the fairway to the right, but you mentioned losing some trees.
This is one of those ash trees right over here. As you can see, before this tree was cut down, you would have had overhanging limbs in your path here, obstructing your next shot. So this is an example how the golf course, unfortunately, did become a little bit easier to play, but at the expense of losing all the trees. So
I got a little lucky, but I see the creek you were talking about, so I tried to just grab enough club to make sure I clear that.
Yep, and we're into the wind also, so just make sure you pull enough club here.
All right.
Looks like you got all of that one. Looks like you're all over the stick.
Come on, wind.
Great shot. Great shot.
Just deep of the pin, but I'll take it.
Nice.
All right, looks like you're in the ideal location, about 100 out in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah, found the short grass here. I got a slight downhill lie here, so what I'm going to do with the downhill lie, I'm going to put the ball a little further back in my stance to ensure that I don't hit it fat.
Okay, good tip. Oh, that's good. Yep, checked
Right
up nicely for you. All right, 2 birdie putts. Yours was nice in the middle of the green. I kind of ran to the back here.
Yeah.
It looks like I got an uphill Looks like it would be swinging right, or right to left, but I don't know if it's going to break as much as
one thing,
looks.
you know, in playing this golf course for so many years, the ball never seems to break quite as much as you think it might. So
Okay.
we a lot of times what we say is we don't want to give the hole away.
Yeah.
You know, when we make putts, so maybe play with a little less break than what you typically think out here. So
Okay.
just keep that in consideration.
Be a little bit more aggressive at the hole and see if something good happens.
Oh.
Get in
oh,
there.
Oh.
Birdie.
Nice birdie.
The gallery goes wild.
Yeah.
The right line. Good two putt.
Putt par. That's all you can ask for.
Hey, thanks for having us out here. Thanks for showing us the beautiful course, and I look forward to seeing you next time I come back.
Yeah, it was a pleasure having you guys out here. Thank you very much.
Jeff, thanks so much for having us. Thanks for taking time out of your day to show us the course. It was a great course, great time, and I look forward to coming back out here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Special thanks to Jeff Morreim and everyone here at Fillmore Fairways. We'll catch you next time off the tee.